So Raj, when did you start to learn to surround yourself with good people?
Again, it took me some time to figure it out because I was my first thing was when after I saw my first motorcycle race, that's all I could think about. It was totally geared to the mechanical part, to the motorcycle itself. But slowly I started realizing and seeing the people that were successful in what they were doing. They seemed to always hang around each other.
Mm.
There was never like one guy that was a successful guy hanging with a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
It was like if you knew one guy that was really successful, well, you didn't know one, you got to know three, four, five. And I started thinking that way, and maybe I should, try to spend more time with so and so because he seems to be really smart, and he does a lot of different things, and then I also start noticing, especially after I stopped racing, when I got into management of racing, I started noticing that some people would be really scared to hire somebody that was smarter than themselves, and sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit scary to hire somebody that is smarter than you, and but I think it's really important that you're willing to do that. Surround you surround yourself with people that smarter
Hmm.
in certain areas and all that and work with them and take a chance. Maybe they take your job, but you better hire them because otherwise somebody else is going to hire them,
Yeah.
and uh, and you won't have the benefit from learning from them.
Because ultimately you want the best on your team, right?
Right? You don't want somebody else to hire the best people. You
No.
want to have the best
Then you
people.
got the
Yeah,
headache of I
yeah.
should have hired that guy, and now you're kind
Now
of the
you have to you have,
consequences.
you have to try to beat him. Yeah,
Yeah, he's trying to beat you. Yeah,
yeah,
working against you now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At what point of your life did you realize that you wanted to be hang around good people and
It's probably in high school. I mean, I look back and I can see the impact the people around me had. And I was thinking about when I was a kid. I remember in fifth grade, a buddy came to school, and I started finding myself in the detention office a lot more, and I never had been there before.
yeah,
There was only one factor that was different. I was hanging out with this one guy, and not that we were being bad kids, and well, we kind of just breaking the rules. But
yeah,
I just even remember in high school, there was so much. That's kind of when you get to that phase, and there's the drinking starts to come in, drugs kind of start to come into a play, and there's a lot of I remember I had a lot of friends who went to those parties. Me and being what I was trying to accomplish and do and what I was going after, I knew I couldn't do that. And I remember I had to change the group of people I hang around in because, I wasn't going to put myself in that position and make bad choices and make bad decisions that were going to have consequences on
yeah,
my goals of what I was trying to become a professional racer. So I mean, there was scenarios like that, and then even to the point of working with, coming in. I was very fortunate, obviously, to come in, to the high level of people like with you as the team manager, Ricky Carmichael at the time. We had Ivan Tedesco, Ian
yeah,
Harrison. I mean, um, just being surrounded by you guys, I was just a sponge, and I knew the success I had at Anaheim. Obviously, I had to believe in myself and all these things, but I knew the success I had, not in Anaheim, but Atlanta, my very first supercross. We won. And I knew it because with you and all the group that we had, the people I had around me, um, even going to my family, to my trainer at the time, it was all because that learning curve I feel like was quickened because of that.
yeah,
And like you were just saying, successful people hang around successful people. I mean, I just found my place all of a sudden. I was around all
yeah,
these successful people, and I just wanted to learn. So, and the same goes for when you left in 2011. Not that it was intentional, obviously. You had to do what's best, but that was really good. I had to go through that, But when you weren't there, I watched the growth and the people. It stopped. It completely. When we didn't want to be better and they weren't trying to be better and be successful and keep growing, we all of a sudden found ourselves behind. And that was a good lesson for me of knowing that. And it was just made it even more clear that I need to surround myself with good people, because how quickly you can go backwards if you don't. In the 70s, who was your team, like the closest people to you, and what did you have to go through?
Well, at that time, the structure of the teams was much smaller, much simpler. Like with Suzuki, when I won my first world championship, um, there was basically on the road traveling. There was 3 people, 4 people max. You know, there was the mechanic, we had an interpreter, we had an engineer, and a team manager sometimes. You know, so it's 4
So
people.
a little bit less management.
Yeah, a lot less management, and but it was, you know, it's all relative. It was the same.
Right.
I probably had more than most teams at the time, you know. And what was really cool, one thing that I remember is when I signed my deal with Suzuki. It was a 1-page contract, and they mailed it back by mail. There was no fax machines yet at that time, and no email,
No emails.
and things like that. So I got this letter back that was typewritten with a handwritten note attached to it, and the contract was very simple. You know, like you get 2 bikes for the World Championship, you get 2 bikes for the local races and practice, and we give you this amount of money for the year. No bonuses, no, you know, no clause, no termination clause or anything like that. Just 1-page deal and a handwritten note. And on the handwritten note, the team manager. And then I was the first rider that they contracted to ride the open class, the 500 GPs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in the handwritten notice, he said, "We are now ready to win all world championships," you know. And I was the only rider that they signed, you know. There was no other rider. There was no other Japanese motorcycle racing in Europe at the time.
So you knew they were like.
So, but it gave me so much trust and confidence, you know, that I thought, this is maybe a little bit much, you know, what they expect. They think I was just going to go start winning championships one after another or something. The way it was written, you know, it was so confident.
Kind of
inspiring.
expecting, like,
yeah.
but they believed in you.
But they must have believed a lot in me, but I never had somebody that put that on a piece of paper. You know, I think there's other people that believed in me in the past, but I never had somebody, you know, from across the world, from the other side of the world, write me a letter like that. And you know, at the time there was some mystery kind of feeling about Japanese bikes. You know, they had already dominated. They started dominating in road racing, but in motocross it was kind of new, you know. And like I said, I was the first rider on a Japanese bike in the top class, you know, that year. And then the first World Championship race at that year was in Italy, in a place called Cingoli, and so I drove down to Italy, and met my mechanic there, my mechanics, and the 3 guys from Suzuki there at the hotel on Friday night. I had not seen my race bike until Friday night, the real race bike, you know.
Before the
GP. So when we came to the hotel, I went to peek inside the van. You know, I wanted to see my bike, what I was going to race. I wanted to see how different it was from my practice bike and that I had in Belgium. But that bike, for the local races, there was no mechanic. You know, I had to do it myself or hire somebody to do it. And then the next day we won both motors and won the championship that year.
So you did go on to win the championship that year.
It was,
You picked up your own bike and everything from the airport?
yeah. Things change as far as surrounding yourself with a certain type of people, maybe when you were a racer, and now that you stop racing in this next life, you know, or is that changed? What kind, is it different people, different type of people that you surround yourself with, or?
I was really fortunate to be surrounded by good people. I definitely was very fortunate in that way, but I don't think it just happens by accident. You know, I think you got to make intentional choices. All those things that I was saying affected how I performed, and so making sure that was all taken care of and trusting those people. I think when I trusted those people and put that trust in them to do the jobs well done,
Things worked out.
it did. They worked out, and it was funny that the atmosphere that we had together worked better. The relationships worked better. If I said, Roger, I could come to you, I could go to the suspension guy. I mean, all those people you were managing on the team, we were all working together, and same with, you know, the team of people I had. We all kind of were working together for one goal. And so knowing that when I lined up on the gate, when I lined up on the, you know, every race, when I knew that when I was there, I did everything I could off the track and on the track, and the people around me, that we did everything we possibly could, and that the only thing that was going to get in the way of us succeeding was going to be, you know, ultimately a lot of it came on me, right? It was, of course, the bike and everything had to, but yeah, if I was afraid to fail, or if I was dealing with my own personal issues, you know, I had to sort through those things, which were heavy at times. But, you know, and same with, you know, now, and that turned into a lot of great success, thankfully, and championships. But then nowadays, the same thing. I am new. It is new for me still, coming off of racing.
Do you think you need to look for different things now in people, now that, you know, that's different, you know, no more racing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it goes, but I also think that stems from back being a racer. You're really just focused on, you know, in your career, it's about, you know, winning races and championships. You know, that's what it's about. But also there is a bigger picture within what I'm doing, and this leads to my after racing is, okay, now it's opened me up to a whole new area of how am I going to use all that I've learned and apply it to the next generation and share that experience. And of course I'm not hanging around my trainer all the time because I don't have to do as much training. You know, I'm trying to surround myself with influential, good people that, you know, build me up, knowledgeable, you know, those things that I can carry on, and that teach me how I can, you know, look for almost mentors, good role models, and experience people who show how I can apply the things that I've learned to that next area of people. And you know, my group of people is pretty small. I mean, there's you, and I got, you know, there's the team, and then obviously my family. I got, you know, my wife, and so it's not like I have a big group of people, but I think the more the question is the people I listen to. I mean, now you have a lot more opportunity. You have a lot more voices in your ear. You have so much, it almost gets confusing in a way. Where it almost,
you get more time, and
yeah, you have more time and more thinking, and my schedule isn't laid out. It's not every single week in racing. And I knew when I was racing, I knew where I had to be, what I had to do. It was, my whole schedule for the whole year was laid out. It was simple, and I knew when I had to go to bed and wake up. And now without that, there is structure, but it's not as structured. It's easier to get off course and get lost and to get frustrated and to have self-pity. And you need to block yourself from those things. So I'm learning a whole new world of, it's opened my mind up to so many, but in a good way, in a way that builds me. I'm learning, and it's hard, but that's how we grow, right? So, yeah.
surrounding yourself with good people, you have there's the opportunity to whatever time you spend with them to learn from their experience and multiply your experiences and that you things you can apply and to problems that you may face and have a picture of succeeding out of it, or to look at the positive side of things, and and I don't feel I am something really special, if I can do it, somebody else should be able to do it. I'm not an Einstein. I'm just a normal guy.
But you learn from good people, and you
Yeah, and I did not come from parents that had a lot of money. They're good people. My dad and mom, they're really honest people, but they my dad worked in a steel mill. We had a warm house and good food, but that was pretty much it. There was no luxury. My dad didn't buy me a car when I turned 18 or 16. And that was not in the possibilities.
yeah.
So I feel that these days, as people have there's so many opportunities that that are given, that are out there for anybody to take if you're willing to work. And sometimes I think Americans don't have enough appreciation, or maybe they don't notice the opportunities out there, because there's a lot of opportunities here, and America is maybe not perfect. There's a lot of problems also, but there's a lot of opportunities, and I think if you spend time in a lot of other countries, it becomes more obvious. People should try to move forward, try to look at the opportunities, and start doing things instead of always looking for something better. Just do it. Start doing something.
Yeah.
But too many people, they wait for the perfect opportunity. They're holding out. They're waiting, and this opportunity is going to come, and it's not going to come unless you start doing things.
Yeah.
Then it comes. What is your takeaway? What do you get from surrounding yourself with good people?
I would just have to say, those people that you surround yourself with, ultimately they care about you. If they're good people, they care about you. They want what's best for you. They're going to be truthful. They're going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you the honesty. You're gonna, if you don't want to hear it at times, but they have the best interest for you. They care about you, and ultimately, knowing what I know now, judging by surrounding myself with good people, they're going to help you, lead you down the right path. If you get off course, they'll get you back on course. If you making bad decisions, hey, they will help you regroup, and you need those team of people around you. And ultimately, we're going to have dreams and goals and things that are much bigger than anything we can do by ourselves too. We're going to need good people. We're going to need people around us that, I needed you. I needed my family. I needed my wife. I needed everybody to accomplish the dreams I had.